I started microdosing mushrooms about 6 months ago after a friend of mine who used to be carnivore, but now she's kind of stepped back from it a little bit, just recommended to me that it would be something worth looking into, that I might find it helpful. And I watched this documentary, which I highly recommend for everybody. It's on Netflix. It's called Fantastic Fungi. And that's where I learned about all the benefits of consuming mushrooms in microdoses and in macrodoses. Especially the part that really pushed me into using it was the combination of neuroplasticity, your brain, different hemispheres connecting with one another more regularly instead of just the three, which is what they call the daily normal. And then there's neurogenesis, where the mushrooms inspire the body to grow new nerves, new nervous pathways. And as somebody who took psych meds for 23 years, that really interested me because I know that my brain chemistry was significantly altered and not in my favor,
Yeah.
taking those meds as prescribed for 2+ decades. And it's been amazing how great microdosing has been for me because I'm 95% less irritable than I was before I started doing that, which my wife really appreciates immensely. And everything is in a sharper focus, and you don't have the sedative effects that cannabis can give you. So it's a much more effective medicine, especially for daytime for me. And I can perform very well on it. With cannabis, some nights I would play really well using it, and some nights not so good. Because it will alter your perceptions just enough to where, you know, you want to hit the seventh fret well, but you landed on the eighth because you couldn't count clearly, you couldn't see it well. I don't have those problems now at all, and it's really been an effective thing. And even if you don't have mental health issues, if you don't have a history of mental health problems, there are other forms of other strains of mushrooms like lion's mane. Very, very good for human beings to consume lion's mane, and they're natural. They're not something made in a laboratory somewhere. You can grow them at home without any difficulty if you wish.
Yeah.
It's just, and it doesn't surprise me that they were made illegal as they were, because the government doesn't want us to expand our level of consciousness, which is what happens when you take a macro dose. And I have found the macro doses to be incredibly wonderful experiences with no downside whatsoever. There's no hangover the next day. There's
Yeah.
no feeling of like, gosh, I ate too many mushrooms yesterday. Oh my gosh, why did I do that? I've never had a bad experience. And I attribute that to the fact that my outlook on life is so positive now. If I had tried a macro dose of mushrooms when I was severely ill, it probably would have been a horror show because I was not in a positive state of mind at all. But today, I'm very thankful that I learned about mushrooms. Matter of fact, that's one of the things I thank my God for every night: meat and water, grounding, and mushrooms and psychedelics in general. I'm very appreciative for that because I've learned so much that's been beneficial for me through the macro doses. I've learned all sorts of. I learned I was carrying around darkness from from trauma from when I was 11 years old. I got hit by a car on a bicycle.
Mhm.
I never thought I got hit, I got hurt, I got well, life went on. I never was like somebody who thought, well, this was horrible. I never thought any of that. And come to find out, the mushrooms assured me you've been repressing that and you can't progress until you purge your body of that. which was an interesting experience. But I felt like I lost a chunk of darkness out of my being when that happened. And it just goes to show there's no ceiling on how good, how healthy we can become. There just really isn't. And as a thankful Catholic convert, I'm thankful that God gave us mushrooms because they are an effective medicine and they're non-addictive,
Mhm.
completely non-addictive. You cannot there's not a recorded case of somebody overdosing and killing themselves with mushrooms. It just, besides, it would make you sick and you'd puke before that ever got close to happening.
Yeah.
Uh, it's just been a remarkable experience and one that I never anticipated having. This wasn't on my radar, but I'm really grateful to the individual uh, who recommended I look into that because it's really been a blessing. And it works great with the carnivore way of eating. You know, it's
Mhm.
not in conflict. I'm not consuming mushrooms for nourishment.
It's medicine.
It's medicine.